6月29日、日本時間、28日、米国時間に行われたドジャース対パドレス戦で、ロサンゼルス、ドジャースは敵地ケトコ、パークで4対2と勝利した。主役の大谷翔平は本塁打こそ出なかったものの、3回に先制の敵地打を放ち、5回には四球で出塁。チームの勝ち越しにつながる重要な役割を果たした。試合の流れを変えたのは5回だった。ドジャースは四球や四球で好機を広げ、フレディ、フリーマンの押し出し四球、さらにムーキー、ベッツの2点敵地打で一気に主導権を握った。投手陣では、エメット、シーハンが粘りの投球を見せ、救援陣も終盤をしっかり封じた。特にタナー、スコットらブルペン陣の働きには、解説陣からも称賛の声が上がった。大谷は試合前にもファンへの神対応や同僚への気遣いで注目を集めており、グラウンド内外で存在感を示した一戦となった。続きはぜひ動画でご覧ください。
Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by Mercury Insurance. John Hartung, Jerry Hairston Jr., Nomar Garcia Parra. The Dodgers bounced back from a tough series opening loss Friday night to take 2 out of 3 from the Padres for the second time this year. It wasn't the same offensive outburst we saw last night when they put up 15 runs, but they broke a 1-1 tie in the 5th inning. Jerry, they put across 3 runs in that inning, and then Emmett Sheehan and the bullpen made it stand up.
Yeah, Emmett Sheehan really was solid today. He really made some adjustments. I love that he had some success there against the San Diego Padre team. Bullpen, once again, outstanding. Tanner Scott coming in the 7th inning, shutting the door, comes back in the 8th inning, shuts the door as well. Enriquez, outstanding job. Mookie Betts, swinging it and picking it.
Yeah, it was definitely a positive outing for Emmett Sheehan, and I really think that was one of the reasons why Dave Roberts probably like, hey, let's take him out now. You got the 5th inning, hand it over to the bullpen, and especially that inning right before. We had a walk hit by pitch, and he's probably going, okay, it was a little bit of a stressful inning. Get him out of there, did really solid outing, give him a chance to win. But really the bullpen, tremendous job by the bullpen, able to get out there, just kind of keep that lead for the Dodgers, just solid win all around. And obviously, the defense has been solid for the Dodgers and was really critical today.
Dodgers got enough offense. They didn't have any extra base hits in this game, but Mookie Betts came through with a huge 2-run single in that 3-run 5th inning. And right now he's standing by with Kirsten Watson.
Mookie, when it comes to defense, you always bring a little bit of a shine to it, that final out, the double play. When you think about making that, what is just going through your mind?
Honestly, I don't know. I was just kind of going. I really feel like I probably should have flipped it to Miggy to make it a little easier, but I don't know. I just decided I try to play without thinking, and that was definitely a point of not thinking.
So were you inspired by Freddie yesterday with his jump throw there?
Yeah, there we go. We practiced it all, so it finally came into play.
I love it. When you go back to that 5th inning, there was so much traffic ahead of you, but there weren't any hits until your hit, the 2 RBI hit. When you're kind of watching Michael King, looking at what he's giving, the long at bat from Freddie, what were you looking for just to get the results there?
Really just to stay aggressive. He kind of was out of the zone for that inning, uncharacteristic. He's throwing a little more balls than normal, but so I just knew like I got to be ready to go because he's got to get back in the zone to get himself out of it, and I got a good pitch to hit.
So much of this year offensively, you've been talking about looking to see that consistency. Is it fair to say that you're finally feeling that at the plate right now?
Yeah, I would say so. I think, I'm able to kind of spray the ball over the field like I feel like I used to. So, I really feel pretty confident in what I'm doing, and I think I just got to keep riding it.
It's clear that you're feeling really good right now offensively. Mookie, congratulations with this win, and congrats as always.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mookie Betts, a big day again for the Dodgers offensively. His torrid last 14 games continues as the Dodgers take 2 out of 3. It's going to be a happy flight to Sacramento. And this was a 1-1 game, Nomar, going to the 5th inning. And Michael King was outstanding against the Dodgers in this game, but he seemed to lose command in that inning. He walks 2 batters, then hits a guy. May have had a called strike 3 on Freddie Freeman for a big out there, but then Mookie eventually got him with that 2-run single.
Listen, first of all, the Dodger offense, way to go. Good job working the walks, especially that leadoff walk by Alex Freeland. He gets a leadoff walk, and then you got Shohei, being patient there, not trying to force anything there. He gets the walk. You got a hit by pitch. So he's all over the place. Freddie Freeman works it. Just a tremendous job at bat after at bat after at bat that sets up for Mookie Betts, who's, like he mentions, feeling more confident, steps into the plate and comes up with a huge hit to knock in those runs. So that was really good capitalizing on it because it's really easy. It rolled over, double play, kind of changed momentum, kept the momentum. It's a big inning.
Well done. Alex Freeland had some really good at-bats today. Great at-bat there to start the inning. Gets on base with a walk. And then Freddie Freeman continues to fight, works walk. And before that walk, he almost hits his boy Mookie Betts on the on-deck circle. I think he grazed him with that foul ball. But these guys, when they're relentless like this, stringing at-bats together, at-bat to at-bat, that is so tough to pitch to. Freddie Freeman works a walk, and then Mookie gets something to handle, rocket up the middle, clutch, 2-run single. So I love the Dodgers. Even they didn't have that long ball today, that's okay. When you have good at-bats, good pitching, and great defense, you're going to win a lot of ball games.
Ever since Edwin Diaz went on the IL, Jerry, seems like Tanner Scott has mostly been used in save situations for the Dodgers. But Dave Roberts went to him with 2 outs in the 7th inning and then got Tanner Scott through the 8th inning as well. Tanner Scott came up big this afternoon in San Diego.
He has been huge all season long for us. Tanner Scott is that dude right now. I just love his stuff. He gets Jackson Merrill on 3 pitches. See that swing and miss? And Manny Machado had a really good day. He's a future Hall of Famer. He had a good day today. Tip your hat. I love this pitch right there. Makes it look like a strike, like a fastball, and then darts out of the zone. And infielders, we love this. We want to play 2. 5, 4, 3, double play. You get out of the inning. Huge day for Tanner Scott.
And then Nomar in the 9th inning, it was Edgardo Enriquez.
Gets the call because we were also wondering, who's he going to turn to over there now that Tanner Scott ended up pitching earlier in the game, as we just saw, and he went to Enriquez. I mean, this says a lot from Dave Roberts also to Enrique, like the confidence he has in these guys. Like, all right, listen, the guy I've been going to close out the games, he's already going. So guys in the bullpen, like, who's he going to turn to? And I guarantee Dave Roberts probably going, listen, I'm trust a lot of you guys looking at the situation. And he goes to Enriquez to go out there and get the job done. And he delivered. But going back to Scott, what was just so impressive to me was not only what Scott did, but I think it also says a lot about Dave Roberts understanding this game, getting the feel for the game, because the Dodgers, obviously, we mentioned in that inning where they ended up taking the lead, they were up like 4-1, and then it was 4-2. And then you could slowly feel this game where it was kind of the momentum was starting to shift for San Diego. They were starting to feel it. They were starting to say, listen, we're pecking away. There's a lot of baseball left. Now you're getting to the heart of their lineup there. And that's when you're bringing in Scott. He's like, I got to bring in my high leverage guy and really try to shut this momentum down. He did that in the 7th and then continue that in the 8th. So I think Dave Roberts was looking at the feel of the game, how it was going. And that's why he brings in the guy he was going to in the back end at that moment to, basically try to close it out there.
Coaching matters. You mentioned it. Understanding your team, understanding your ball club, and the communication. Dave Roberts, Mike Pryor, the entire staff understood what was going on in that 4th, 5th, 6th inning and said, hey, Tanner Scott get loose. You never know what could happen. He's not ambushed by that at all. He's ready to go in that 7th inning, and that is tremendous communication. Josh Bard, bullpen coach out there, always communicating with our guys. Hey, look at the game. We're taught. Nomar was an everyday player, but I was taught sometimes if I didn't start, watch the game. Where I pinched hit or in a double switch. That's what these bullpen guys do. They watch what's going on. Who's the high leverage guy? I'm that high leverage guy. I may be called upon. So they do a tremendous job of making sure everybody is on the same page with communication. And then when Tanner Scott is called upon in that 7th inning, get that key out, he is not ambushed. He's ready to go.
And then in the 8th inning, you talk about how quickly momentum can change. Dodgers were up 4-2. The first 2 were on base. And Tanner Scott's behind 3-1 in the count. 3 pitches later, he's out of the inning because he got strike 2, and then he struck out Bogarts, and then he gets the double play on the 3rd pitch.
Yeah, that's really buckling down and just executing the pitches. I mean, Tanner Scott, that was huge. Like we said, I'm sure you at home was feeling as all of us fans were watching this game. We're like, are we getting out of this? Uh-oh, here they come. You got to make a big pitch here. He does. Not only get the strikeout and then getting that double play. Really critical, the double play being executed behind the defense, everything. But yeah, it was definitely, we were on the edge of our seat. We're trying to feel this
happened so fast.
It really did happen so fast. But at the same time, I think the difference also, we know what we've seen from Tanner Scott this year was compared to last year. I mean, it is a different Tanner Scott. This is the Tanner Scott that the Dodgers were hoping when they signed him last year. Struggled last year, but what a bounce back year for Tanner Scott so far. But also I think he feels it as well, recognizing it, because even in that situation, still confidence, pounding the zone, saying, okay, execute my pitches, go after these guys, and he ends up getting out of it.
And here's the thing, too. Great job by Chucky Robinson, too. After that strikeout, okay, probably the next guy up is going to ambush here.
Yeah.
He's going to be very aggressive. You can kind of play to that a little bit. Okay, we're going to make our pitch and do type of weak contact, or at least on the ground. He hit it semi-hard, but it was on the ground. And that's great for the Dodgers because it induced that double play. Well done, Tanner Scott. and Chucky Robinson.
Dodgers get the win 4-2. They take 2 out of 3 from the Padres at Petco Park. Let's head back to the booth in San Diego. Check in one final time with Joe Davis and Eric Karros.
Well, a couple blowout games to start this series, but a tight, intense one here. The Dodgers hang on 4-2.
Yeah, you know, this was the Dodgers found a way to win. Good pitching by Sheehan, and then the opportunistic inning, couple of walks, hit by pitch, and then Mookie Betts, the big base hit. The defense, the relief pitching, just an all-around good win.
This had a chance to be a really tough road trip, and not that it hasn't been a tough road trip, but they've won 5 of 6 as they get ready to head to the final leg of it.
Yeah, really done a nice job, obviously setting the tone in Minnesota, and then carrying it over here. The offensive explosion last night, then winning. They've won ball games in different fashions. Right. That's what's probably been most exciting. Move on to Sacramento to take the A's on.
All right, 3 more games left on this 9-game trip, and the Dodgers off to a 5-1 start.
Dave, looking back at that 5th inning, just how pivotal were the at-bats, whether it was the bases loaded, the quality from the top of the order, then you have someone like Freddie who can work the count, then for Mookie to come in. When you look at that inning, how did that just kind of not only change things, but obviously get Michael King out of the game?
Well, I thought the Freddie bat was the at-bat of the game. It was like the Tucker at-bat the other night. Just a will to just fight to win pitches, and he earned a walk right there, walked in a run. Just then Mookie came up with a big hit to drive in a couple more, but that kind of desire that, you know, compete was big. And Michael King is obviously giving us fits, a really good pitcher, but the way Freddie competed right there flipped the game and changed the momentum.
Going into this game, we talked so much about Emmett and just the bullpens that he had this week and how he was able to work through a few things mechanically to get back that execution. To see how this game just played out, to see how he was able to carry that over from his bullpen, how encouraging was that for you and for him?
Yeah, really encouraging. I thought today his fastball was good. Command can still get better. I thought towards the end of that outing, there were some really good throws in there. I thought the curveball was the star for me tonight, versus left, versus right, and it kind of slowed those guys down a little bit. I thought Chucky did a really nice job with them. Yeah, and for him to, you know, get through 5 innings, you know, with a lead, give us a chance to win a ball game. Like I told him after the game, this is something for us to build on and keep going to work this week and be ready for your next one.
That 5th inning is the 12th inning that spiraled a lot this year. What changed for him to be able to get out of that spot?
You know, he got a you know, I think a couple big strikeouts there. I think there was a walk that 5th inning, but he weathered that. You know, he was a hitter away from not finishing that 5th inning. But for me, I thought he just bared down and you know, made pitches when he needed to versus, you know, feeling it with the mechanics or being uncertain. But I thought, you know, right there, he was determined to, you know, get that last hitter out.
How much is Emmett bearing down and having that determination in that inning more of what he was maybe lacking in his prior 3 or 4 starts and what he needs to be focusing on to take that next step?
Well, I think that, you know, when you don't feel great, it's an easy default to focus on your mechanics, to try to feel something. But, you know, in the heat of the moment of a game, you know, you have to find a way to get past that and be external and get the hitter and understand what the game is trying to do and what the game is telling you. So he's not there yet. He's getting there. It takes innings, major league innings, to get to that point. But he's getting better. He's getting better, and no one questions the skill set.
You talked about Mookie having intent at the plate. That 2-run single, kind of laying off some outside pitches and waiting for something over his way. Is that an example of that? Of kind of matching the swing feel with a better approach to knowing what he wants to do up there?
It is. You know, he looks over ball really well. That's kind of what he's always done. But when he gets careful, that's when you start getting in between. And so, yeah, you might open yourself up to a little bit more swing and miss. But, you know, with the velocity these guys have these days, you got to have some intent, you know, with your swing and trust it. So the last week, I've seen a lot of good things from Mookie.
We lost the series. It's the bottom line. You know, we played some solid baseball throughout it, but in the end, lost 2 out of 3.
What did you see in the 5th inning from Michael King?
Yeah, he just kind of lost the strike zone there. We've seen bouts of that from Michael throughout this season, and he just wasn't really able to rein it in, and kind of got cornered in against Mookie, and Mookie made him pay for it.
Were you able to see that maybe the final ball to Freddie was a strike?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll check on the ABS. I haven't looked at it. It's hard to look at that stuff in game. I know it was a missed location pitch. Those are always tough for the catcher to, with the bases loaded, trying to protect the plate. And we challenged a few of those early in the game and got them. I know Michael did one. So, yeah, we've got to be great at the ABS, and we're not going to get everyone right, especially in a big situation like that. It's nice, but it would have been nice to get that one.
There were some other things later in the game, maybe some opportunities the offense missed, but these short starts from the starters, like how much does this need to get fixed for you guys to be what you can be?
Yeah, it definitely puts our bullpen in a tough spot, where we're just using them and sometimes unable to use them in the correct lanes just because they're the only person available, and I think, we just got to get a little bit more out of the starters. They got to be able to at least give us 5. Otherwise, we got to, figure out a different way to do it.
How can you do that? Is it just like those guys need to perform through the 5th? Can you ride them a little longer? I know maybe today was different, but just generally speaking, how do you get more from those guys?
Yeah, they got to pitch better and they got to throw strikes. That's number one, is you make the other team put the ball in play and you play the percentages. That's number one. Number 2 is we've just got to get a little bit better, overall be able to manage getting through the game. And then I think the other part is we've tried to be a little creative with it too, with the openers and, all that stuff still on the table and bullpen games and, things like that. Like everything's on the table to try to make it better. You think of it, we'll probably try it. We've already talked about it.
I'm not thinking of anything new. What have you seen from Manny lately at the plate that's kind of...
Yeah, Manny had a great series, in my opinion, for the most part. A great game today, too. Home run and then the double off Scott, and even a really good ball to right center off Vesia. We like having him in between those 2 lefties because we feel like he's going to face a lefty more often than not late in the game. And you can just see his swing is kind of back to the old Manny swing. That swing he took off Scott, line drive down left field line. That swing was pretty, and that's what we remember from Manny. And the other part of that is he played great defense this series too. His head's always in the ball game. He's always thinking about the next way to get an out or to get an extra out. He definitely showed a ton of leadership on the field in the series against the Dodgers, as he does a lot of times.
Greg, go back to Freddie's at bat. He falls behind 0-2. Takes 3, works into 3-2, fouls off 3 really good pitches, and then draws the walk. You see that kind of approach kind of up and down their lineup. Is that something that's organizational? They want guys who are going to be really pesky and make you work for it? Or is that something to the quality of the type of player that they have over there with like 7 all-stars in the starting lineup?
Yeah, Freddie's a really good hitter. I remember facing him a few times and having those similar bats. He's just never going to give in. And you've got to make good pitches. He forces you to make really good pitches. And, on the mound, we've got to be able to compete in that same manner. Michael did. Like, he went after him and apparently struck him out, unbeknownst to me. And I can't do a whole lot about it. But, that's just the type of player he is. They have a few of those. We have a few of them also. That's why the games that we play against them are usually pretty tight.
Is that something you guys need to do more of yourselves? If you have the quality of player to do that, to work more counts, foul off more tough pitches, try to just do anything you can to try to get
I think when you were first talking about it, I thought you were talking about Freddie Fermin in the last inning. So we do have plenty of those guys that take those at-bats. I think when you look at it through different kind of lenses and that part of the game, we can always pick out one at-bat and say, hey, we can do that all the time. But I think our hitters do that more often than not. I think it's smart for us to look for those opportunities when they do it right, and then pat them on the back and say you're doing a great job, and hopefully that reinforces more of those types of at-bats.
Is it ready to go out on the road again? What do you come home and you win 4 out of 6? What did you take from this homestand?
Yeah, overall, we played the Braves really good, get a sweep against a good team, play the Dodgers, beat them the first game, have some momentum. Yesterday's game gets away from us. We came out today, played pretty hard, 2-run ball game, had chances, throughout the game. In the end, we won 1 series and we lost 1 series. And we're here, that's our goal every time we play a team, is to win the series. Eventually, hopefully, it gets to the point of October where we just got to win a series. And I think that's all we're thinking about. That's all our mindset every day, is how can we win the series. So we won 1 and we lost 1. So we'll call it an even.
You were part of a bullpen where they found solutions as long as you could in 2021. at what point does it become like, wow, this is unsustainable?
Yeah, my biggest worry, because I lived it and I know what that was like, and I know how we were feeling at the end of the season. We felt good, but it just wasn't the same. And as my job as manager is to try to protect the bullpen in that way, so that they are a strength for the entire season, not just in May and June.
今回も最後までご視聴いただき本当にありがとうございました。動画の内容を楽しんでいただけたでしょうか。もしよろしければチャンネル登録と高評価をお願いいたします。皆さんの応援が今後の動画制作の大きな励みになります。それではまた次回の動画でお会いしましょう。